Good morning, everybody. Today's not going to be a reading. It's going to be just like a weird, I say interlude, but it's just a weird thing. It's based on an article out of the book. Oh my gosh, I can't pronounce his name. Robert Planchk, K-E at the end, and it's a synastry book. And there's an article in that book about why is the planet Mercury so important? Why was it revered by the Chaldeans in some way? This has always interested me because I used to read all these like really difficult when I was younger. They're almost like tombs, the Madame Blavatsky type of things. And she always used to say, "Oh, Mercury's really important." And I've always felt, being a Gemini, that Mercury's really stupid because it's silly in many ways. But I'm just beginning to understand why it may be important. I'm going to translate this into a story so you might understand it. And this is a story that I dreamt about, and it was this morning because I woke up with it. But when I talk about Mercury, I'm not talking about people who are Virgo. Even though I've got the Gemini planet here, it's because I can't find the Mercury. It's everybody's got Mercury in their chart. It's not people who are just Virgo, people who are just Gemini. It's our mind and how we think and how we inform ourselves and what makes us different from, badgers and dogs and cats in some way. Although I've got a very clever cat, or had a very clever cat. So this was what I was dreaming about this morning, to see if I can translate this for you. Mercury in the centre. We can't place it. This is the story of how we basically transform ourselves in this world. And this story in my dream, nothing is boring as somebody else's dreams, are there, was in the form, it was like a half dream of going out to on a night out. So this is how it came to me. We're going down this way. This is the underworld with Pluto at the bottom, and then we're going to go up this way. So just imagine you're going out to a nightclub, you're all dressed up, and with the sun card here, there's a group of people encompassing the energy of the sun. That's the bit that gets you out of the house, where you sat there still and you're quite happy with your family. So there's a lot of what I guess with the sun card here would be like peacocking, dressing up, showing off, all about me. Absolutely fantastic, but that's just what it is. It's not all negative. The sun would be very warm, they'd be in groups greeting each other and hugging each other, but it would all be about, their mind would be on who they were and what they were doing, even though that they warm it, but they have the energy inside them to be able to change. They encompass that sun energy, which is everything. And then you come on to perhaps another group that joins this walking bus to a nightclub, and it's Mars. So Mars is straightforward. It's like they join the group, they say, well, this is what we're doing, this is the direction we're going into. Very masculine feeling. Both of these are very masculine, of slightly testosterone fuel, slightly scrappy. This is what we're doing, come along with us. And it's all, everything's moving, and they're going to fight for perhaps to make sure that they get, to the beginning of the line at the nightclub. It's that energy, forthright, and I'm going to get there first, and I'm going to make sure, I'm just going to make sure I get there first. As you're coming closer to this nightclub, this is my dream, you're going to start encompassing Saturn. So this is like you're falling into earth type of energy here, how we basically get lost and we don't really understand what we're doing. So the Saturn card is going to be slightly fear-based. This is when we start beginning to understand what's going on outside of ourselves, rather than just encompassing this energy, which is direct or self-fulfilled in some way. The Saturn card is going to start worrying, going to start seeing threats in the outside environment. Perhaps the Mars might biff up the sun people, or perhaps you won't be able to get into the club, or perhaps you don't think you're good looking enough and people are looking at you like people, I don't know if they still do this, but they choose the gorgeous girls, used to do this when I was young, to go into the clubs first. Yeah, I was right at the back. But there is that type of feeling, and it starts sitting inside you. When you start feeling uncomfortable, everything's a slight threat, and you start feeling slightly inadequate. So, okay, you get past the bouncer, you get over the Saturn slightly, but it's still there inside you. Now, Pluto is the Earth. It's us down here now. This Pluto energy would be like a club with lots of different segments, lots of different dark, mysterious, almost like a compulsive pull to go in lots of different rooms. And my first thought, of course, is going to be something like a room with some sort of, I'm going to go there first. Let's just say you go through the door. There's Pluto energy and there's somebody incredibly attractive. And this person, like you get those people that give out tickets when you're in Ibiza. They're all really gorgeous. Like, yeah, come into my club. It's that. And they're like winking at you thinking, oh my God, they must love me. But it's just pulling you into a situation. And then you're in and you're like looking for people and everybody's incredibly good looking. So you start losing yourself a bit, thinking, this is it. This is really exciting. This is what I need. Each room has got something that almost hints at fulfilling you, but you can't quite get stuck into the room. A room with, I'm going to say like an orgy type room. So there's some sort of sex going on there, and perhaps somebody in there personifies your ideal. Well, let's just imagine that. Then there's another room perhaps with how to basically obtain some granny's property. Somebody who is like old and very vulnerable, but it's somebody signing contracts. So you can get timeshare in this property if you just sign this, and we'll outdo this person. It's something that's enticing. You're thinking, oh, do you want to go in there? But it's pulling you in and pulling you in, and you start getting an uneasy feeling, and there's a feeling of threat. Added on to all this fear here, trying to maintain your ego, trying to come out first, feeling fear, and then the seduction of getting something that you think needs to be fulfilled inside you. So you're like sucked to each of the rooms. So this is going on, and you feel like you come out of one room, you get sucked into another, you're fighting with it, and you're just basically stuck down here in an eternal dark nightclub. Yeah, there we are. Eventually, let's just say eventually, after that, Pluto's compulsive. So you think, I'm going to go out the back door. So you're making your way to the back door thinking, I've had enough of this. This can't be right. But you think, you keep coming back, because it is quite obsessive to be pulled back into these things when you feel that you're going to get hands on something that's going to give you power, or you're going to feel like all the eyes are on you and you feel really attractive, or you've got finances or money, or you're set up in life in some way. And then you sort of have enough of it in some way. I'm going to bring this in a minute. And you get an inkling or a side door, a little bit of light shining through a back door in this club. Perhaps with Venus card here, you're moving away from the club, you're talking to somebody about the experience that you've had, and you start dropping these values here because we're going up here. And that is normally when you fall for somebody and you're not really yearning power. You're just finding something attractive, and that is your first inkling of how life could be. You're beginning to give, not to hold on to your boundaries and maintain your brilliance, but you're beginning to share it a little bit here, a bit like the Two of Cups with Venus here. So that's slightly beginning to dawn on you. There's a bit more than me, my drives, my fear, and getting sucked into enjoying ourselves and making sure that we're on top. Okay. Next way up is Jupiter. So moving further away from this imaginary club, Jupiter is your higher mind. This is when you're walking further away and you start assessing how far you've gone down this road, what your journey's been like and what you've gone through, and you start seeing the bigger picture. Maybe there is something in that. Maybe there's something outside of ourselves and our experiences, your higher mind. Maybe it's better if we're all made of the same thing, we're all going to the same flipping club, we're all trying to get out of the same club. Would it be better to do it as a group? And then your end card at the end is Neptune, which is Venus, the higher octave of Venus, which comes at the end. And that is realization that it's not only wisdom, but how we love our love nature that is going to get us away from going over this, down this experience again. It's our way out as we go back up this side. Now, as I promised, this is my dream this morning, as I promised, Mercury, to explain Mercury is what I promised, is often seen, as I said, a really sort of like silly planet. But it's Mercury and our understanding that communicates with each of these experiences and goes inside ourselves to understand ourselves and where we need to be, to see the bigger picture, to understand love. And when we do love readings, you know, most of the time I tend to try and weave in the reading that it's all about us, and which it always is. And to use our sense of wisdom and our understanding and our bigger picture, and to be able to love each other, which I know sounds really cliched, but that is what's going to get you out at the end of the day. You know, we're all in this, not all of us. We all know what it feels like, and some of us are more entrenched than others. And that Pluto, you know, it's like, got to keep pulling, got to keep pushing, got to keep my head above water, got to keep my ego intact. But it's Mercury is our mind, our understanding and our communication with ourselves, and that is why it's so important. Or else we just basically, and this is like a bit detrimental to animals, we just end up playing with these values here, trying to beat each other up, trying to be the best, trying to get attention, feeling fear and acting on that, or basically getting blinded and sucked into the darker bits in life that we can't get away from, thinking that we're getting somewhere important when really it's up this path is where we need to be going. Okay, I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to put this out because I'm trying to put different things out, just thoughts that come to me. They will seem unpolished, but I've got to the conclusion it's important just to share something. If it's important to one person, that make me happy. I'm going to go, bye.